special live videos, but today it's going to be a little bit different. I have added two awesome new types of readings, so I will be explaining what those are and how you can get them. And for those of you who are just joining the channel, who recently found it, welcome to the community. For those of you who are coming back, thanks for staying around. And just welcome everybody. Let me know how your Friday is going. My Friday is feeling very much like a Friday. I gotta say, I'm feeling the energy. Although I just thought about how the moon is in Cancer and I haven't bawled my eyes out yet, so maybe that's still on its way. All right, everyone, let me know in a comment if you're jumping on the live and you can see me and you can hear me. I am going to check. I think our volume is all a little messed up. Let me see. Let me know, let me know if you guys hear some interference on the audio because I'm hearing it on my side. I'm going to check it on my phone to see if it's as bad as I think it is, and then see what I can do about it. We'll see what I can do. But while I'm doing that, I'll see your comments as well. Yeah, that's so bad. Okay, we're going to try to fix it. This is always really fun because I get to do something to fix it, and then it either works or it doesn't. And then I have to kind of listen to it back to see if it did. Let's try this way. Okay, so it's all right. Let's just... Okay, maybe this will be better. Maybe it will. Maybe it still seems kind of touchy. Let me see here. Let's see. I don't hear it in here though. That's the weird thing. Okay, let's try this again. Alright, well I hope you guys hang in there with me because these are usually worth it. Again? Okay, yeah, it's really kind of bad. Okay, maybe I got it to work now. I don't trust it though. Yeah, damn. I think I'm trying to figure out what I can do because I'm gonna try leaving and coming back. All right, for anyone here, we're just having some weird mic stuff. And I tried to leave and come back, and I think it just kept the stream playing. So I have to see now, am I even back? Yeah. Yay! It fixed it. Okay. So now that our sound is working, I'm going to try really hard not to touch it. And we're going to um, we're going to talk about what we're doing in this video, which is live readings. So, yeah, that's what we're up to. I will explain kind of how it works. But before we do that, I'd love it if everyone said hello. And we'll get into the lives as soon as somebody books. So I did have some trouble with my mic. It's over now, I think. And we're going to go forward. Okay. So, okay, sorry, you guys. I'm trying to do this technical thing. It's not letting me. So hey, how is everybody? Um, just say hey if you're joining and you can hear me. I would love that. We are doing live readings, which means you can actually jump on, book a reading with me here live in real time, and I'll take a look at your chart. We have some really exciting new readings that I added for fun. So now you have more options that you can choose from when doing this. So I'm just trying to make sure our link is working. So that I know that people can book when they want to. And then I will explain more momentarily. Okay, it's working. Yay. Okay, so that means I can drop it in the chat. Yay, things are working. This is great. Okay, so here we are. A little impromptu, more impromptu than I thought we'd be, but it's all good. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys how this works. Welcome back if you're coming back. Welcome on if you are just jumping on, just joining us, or new to the channel. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. And today we have live readings. So the way these readings work is you can book a reading with me here in real time and get your reading done here in real time. So all the readings that people sign up for will be done today. And so if that means if you book your reading today, it'll get done today. Usually what happens is in the beginning, a few people start jumping on and everything, and then it picks up a little bit of speed, and then sometimes everyone books at once. So if you are wanting to get a reading, now is always a good time if you want to avoid the line. And if you're here and you don't want a live reading, but you want to just hang out and chit chat with us and watch me read other people's charts, you are welcome. That is why we do this live. It's fun. And most importantly of all, the most exciting part is that I added two new things. Okay, I added two new live things. Two new options. Ooh, Paolo, hello. Thank you for saying hi from the Azores. I don't know where that is, but it sounds cool. I love how we get to like connect all over the world. It's one of my favorite things. It really is. Okay, so I did add two new types of readings to our normal readings. So, for anyone who doesn't know, what we normally do on these is you have three options. One is your natal chart, two is transits, and three is your lunar return. But I added 4 and 5. And 4 and 5 are the best aspect in your chart and the worst aspect of your chart. So I thought this would be fun to see, like, just on first glance, what does an astrologer think is the best thing in my chart? And sometimes I gotta warn you that the best thing in your chart is not as exciting to the person as it is to the people watching. And I'll tell you an example of someone I did a reading for recently where it's like I said something based on where their Jupiter and Venus were about, how they write. It's in Portugal. Oh, cool. Um, but basically how they write for their work, and they sort of did not answer the question. I had to like rein them back in and be like, well, wait, is that true though that you do write for your work? And they were like, yes. But they didn't care about that. Right? Because to us, sometimes our strengths or the things that we're naturally good at, they're not always the thing we need to hear at the moment, or they're not always something that is meaningful to us. But when I tell someone about their problems, they're like, "Oh my God, yes." Right? Because we don't feel misunderstood around the things that go well. The things that go well just go well, and we don't even always notice they go well because we don't know what it's like not to have that gift. So to us, it's not necessarily the best thing ever. It's just like the way it has always been. Now, of course, if you've worked on yourself and you've practiced gratitude, then, I'm not judging anyone for not being grateful enough. But sometimes we don't recognize our gifts because we just have no idea what it would be like to live without them. Okay, so that being said, you can still book a reading on your greatest gift, and I'll tell you what I think it is based on your chart in terms of what I think Jupiter or Venus might be contributing to your life that's like special or different or unique. And then I'll tell you what you can do with that. Okay, so that's one. And the other one is the worst part of your chart. Now, this goes the other way and sometimes I think looking at the hardest things sometimes is more like therapeutic, it's more helpful because sometimes that's where we need the extra support. Sometimes that's where we need someone else's perspective to help us see it in a different light. And sometimes when we see that the challenges we've gone through our whole lives are right there in the chart, sometimes there's a feeling that just validates it. It's validating and it feels like it confirms your life experience. And then, of course, if possible, I'm always going to try to help you work with that part of your chart, and that's going to be different for everyone. Okay, so we have those two very new, exciting readings that we have to offer. And I did them as two separate ones. You can do one or the other. And I think now is the time where I'm going to show you guys how to book it. So let me do that. Let me get to our video. Kiki's here. Hey, Kiki. Okay, so I'm getting to our video and I am going to share this tab instead. Okay, so here's our video. Here is what it will look like when you have, oops, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Here's what it'll look like. Now you're going to see this blue-ish pinned comment here. This is where the link is. So you want to click here and it'll be at the top and on your phone too. And then it's going to take you to this page. This is a page where we book the reading. So you can go here. You can click the book button. They're actually 7 minutes now. And then it'll say a time that is later than what it really is, because if I put, it's 6:30 my time now. If I put 6:30, then at 6:31 it disappears. So if you book during the segment that's available for booking when I'm live, your reading will be done that day for sure, no matter what. Okay, and so here we have one of the following, right? You can pick transits, that's current energies. Natal chart, just what stands out. Lunar return is your month's emotional themes, starting from when the moon was conjunct your moon, so it's like your personal month. The best aspect in my natal chart, worst aspect in my natal chart. And I'm going to just scan it and look at it and tell you the worst one or the best one that I think is the worst. And why I think it's the worst or why I think it's the best. The worst one isn't to troll you, you guys. It's not like, oh, you suck, you have this in your chart. It's more like this is the most challenging thing you're going to go through, or one of the most challenging energies you'll have to learn how to live with, just because it's in your chart and this is how it might show up. So it's more like serious and like nice. I'm nice. Okay, so then you put your birth info in. Then you click, I understand, blah, 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 no refunds, and then you choose one. So you can choose any of these, even if you've already worked with me. And then you hit continue to payment. There's a next page it takes you to where you pay for the reading. Okay, so that's how we do it. All right, now let me get our chart back up again. Okay. And then once people start booking, we will get probably some people who I read their chart, and then that's always fun too. I know some of you like to watch and see the chart being read. Okay. You want me to search for the Azores? Paulo? Let me look them up. The Azores, Portugal. No way. No way. You live there? I gotta go there. I'll show you guys this picture. Oh, it passed the one I just saw. Can you guys see it now? Hold on, let's see. Let's do this one. Ooh, check it out. You got internet there too? I want to go. It's so beautiful. I bet the air is so fresh. The coast and the mountains. That picture did it for me. Is it super high in elevation? I bet it is. Oh, look, it's only $1,000. Damn. Now I'm jealous. Okay. Especially the Lagos da Sete Cidades story. Okay, I'll have to look that one up too. All right. For anyone jumping on, we are doing live readings. Thanks for sharing that. And we are going to have some readings at some point here. Let's see. When people book. So there is a link in the chat box where you can sign up. The readings are 7 minutes. They used to be 5, but I extended them because I keep talking anyway. So that's what we do. And let's see, if you have booked and I didn't see it, oh, I'm on the wrong thing. If you did book and I didn't see it, make sure you comment, and then I'll see it. I'll see that you made the booking. And for anyone who didn't hear early, who was just jumping on, I added 2 cool new types of readings that we've never done before. So it's exciting. So the new readings, you can pick one or the other. It's on the best part of your chart or the worst part of your chart. So I'm talking about aspects. So how that works if you choose one of those is I will put in your birth info, pull up your chart on the screen just like the chart that's right here, and I'll tell you what I think the best aspect in your chart is if you choose best aspect, and I'm going to tell you how that shows up and what areas of life might go more easily for you, or how to cash in on that best aspect if you don't actually know, in case you don't know. Sometimes people don't know they have an ability to do a thing and they're just not using it because they don't know they can do it. You know, like maybe you have Venus, Mercury together and you can have like the sweetest words, right? Or maybe you have a bunch of fourth house stuff and you can tap in fourth house or eighth house stuff, and you can really tap into people's emotions and just understand feelings in a way that other people can't. Right? Sometimes in our very masculine, very capitalist society, we get the message and we internalize it that, you know, if it's not a masculine quality based on accomplishment, that it's not a gift. So the beautiful thing about the chart is that it's going to show us all the possible gifts, not what someone else thinks is valuable. So yes, that is what we have. We have the best part of your chart or the worst part of your chart are now options. So I'm excited about this. I hope someone books one of those, because I just think that I even if you had to pick one, I would actually pick the worst one. Why? Because number one, I'm better at reading those. I am better at I'll do it. I'll do all the things, but I'm better at reading the energies of how the emotional problems may have manifest in your life and how it feels to go through that. That is one of my strengths. So that's why I would pick that one. But we can still talk about, even if you pick the worst part of your chart, we can still talk about what's good about it. If it has good about it, what that is. If there's something good you can do with it. Sometimes there's a challenging aspect, but you can do a lot with it. And it you know, sometimes like squares or oppositions, for example, are things that people think are bad, right? Because they're challenging aspects. They are challenging aspects. That is a fact. But we can work with them. And oftentimes people who don't have enough challenges There's other problems that come from that. There's problems that come from not having enough challenge in life because then you get no resilience. And I know that sounds really fluffy when you're going through something hard. You're like, please, I don't need any more resilience. Thank you. But I think, sometimes it's just good to get someone else's perspective of what's possible with your own unique energies, whether we're looking at the challenges or we're looking at the gifts. So that is what we are doing. Feel free to say hello in the chat if you're just jumping on, and we are going to hang out until somebody books a reading because I added some really fun ones that I think is going to be really cool. And I think it's going to be actually awesome. If you're new to the channel, feel free to also let us know how you found it. Was there a video you were searching for? Did it just show up on your page? That's always fun to learn about as well. All right. Okay, guys, so we are just going to hang out for a little bit because Friday nights are usually pretty active. So the chart on the screen, this could be your chart if you book a reading. And I think that the cool thing about astrology is that it kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's like every planet has a story. And the planets don't just represent areas of life. Like, the sun is going to represent your life force energy and where you shine. And the moon is going to be like your feelings and your body and your emotions and how you take care of yourself. And, but each of those parts of the self, right? The sun being how we shine, the moon being our emotions and stuff, Mercury being our communication, Venus being the lover in us, Mars being the hater in us, the what we'll fight about or what we'll fight for, whether we like fighting or don't like fighting. And then, Saturn will be maybe our discipline and our capability in certain ways. Maybe Jupiter is like our optimism, right? So all these planets have a role in the chart, in the life. But we all have a story with each of those areas of ourselves, right? So astrology lets us tap into our own unique story. And that's why I love it so much, because then we're not just fitting into a box of what other people say we're supposed to be. We're actually kind of tapping into how this area of life is different, where it goes slower, where it goes faster, how it works better. And it's all written in the chart, but it's all very personal too. Okay, so anyone jumping on? We are doing live readings tonight. It is Friday, and I added 2 new, very special, very fun, exciting types of readings that I thought would be super fun. And they are the best aspecting, worst aspecting your chart. So if you want to dive into, if you need an uplift, you need to remember and just be reminded what's good about you right now. You could just use that positive focus. We can do the best aspect in your chart And I can tell you some real examples of ways this might show up in your life. So you'll leave that reading with awareness of what house. Like we'll look at your Jupiter and Venus, and if one of them stands out more as being like really great, I'll talk about what kinds of things that might be great at doing or might support you in doing or might go more easily for you. And then if you're more in the mood to do a little shadow work or you're more in the middle of a struggle and you'd rather hear about it, then yeah, so if you're like in a struggle or if you're the kind of person that you're like, no, I just want to shine the light on all of my problems so they can be transformed or transmuted. I can't promise you'll do that in one reading, but I can promise that I will tell you what I know about that aspect, that challenging aspect, so you can take what is, the lead in your chart and turn it to gold, so to speak, right? That's the alchemy of astrology, is to take the most dense, challenging aspect that is there and kind of like change it. Not change it like it's always going to be there, but use it to your advantage. That's the whole thing. So that's what we're doing. There's that, and then there's the other normal options. If you're a regular and you always love transits or something, then you can always go for that as well. So to book, what you do is you use the link at the top of the chat, and that's how that works. Okay, so it looks like some more people are jumping on. Yay. Okay, so Paulo, still new and you didn't understand. That's okay. No worries. Rebecca had been binge watching Learning Astrology. Yours was suggested one day. It's cool that you're in Nevada too. How did we get stuck here? I legitimately got stuck here. I really did. Note to self, if you're working remotely and living out of Airbnbs, don't go to Vegas because I swear to God, it's just, yeah, I did get stuck here. I don't think I told that story because I'm still suffering from the effects of it, but eventually I'll get maybe back to California or something. Julia says, "Hi, love your videos." Wait, Rebecca, you did the same thing? No way. No way. That's crazy. Okay, Kiki's gonna book. That's cool. You have all the seconds you need. I almost said uh, the other thing. The only reason I'm not saying it is because I don't want it to, I don't know, cancel me or something. Shit. Um, okay. We're gonna have some fun today. Okay, Julia, I see you. I see you. It didn't make noise. There it goes. Okay, so Julia got in first. Kiki, you can still book though. And we're looking at transits. Okay, so let me find you on here. I'm going to see exactly. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be an adult, I swear. um, okay, stop sharing. Okay, so yeah, we have Julia. Did we get someone else too? Yep, so Julia, then Kiki, and then whoever books after Kiki will be next. Okay. I'm just getting your chart up. Or putting it in. I just assumed I had you in here. but I do not. So I'm going to add your chart. You've given up, Rebecca. Well, I can't say. I can't say what I was just going to want to say. Maybe later I will be able to. Okay, I'm adding you, Julia. Okay, and then we're going to... we're going to... I swear I'm pulling the chart up, I swear. Paulo, I see you as well. You're number 3. So we have Julia, Kiki, and Paulo. In that order, 7 minutes each. Anyone who books now will be in line behind them. Anyone who books today will get their reading done today. Okay, so Julia, I'm gonna pull up the transits for you, and then I will just talk about whatever I see that is like standing out the most transit wise. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so let me get the timer on. And then let me see. Well, we have Jupiter in the 8th for another month or so. When Jupiter goes through the 8th house, this is a year of getting more out of it. If you share, if you are getting close to people, doesn't mean you have to. And also, Jupiter here could be like an inspiring, supportive force to learn psychic things, intuitive abilities, especially with Saturn in the 8th. There might be a desire to like learn tarot, but do it in a very structured way, like to work hard on it, so to speak. Jupiter might be helping you be more optimistic about issues related to trusting other people. Saturn here does make you usually not as trusting right away. It takes longer to get to know you deeply, but Jupiter here might be helping like ease that up a bit. Okay, so then I'm trying to see if there's something else here that's a little bit more right now, like, hey, right now. Right now, Saturn has been squaring your Mars. That one kind of does suck if I'm being honest, because it's a frustrating transit, and that's been for the last month. A month ago, this was exact, and it's on its way now to pass, but you may still have some lingering feelings of frustration going on, especially related to money. Might not be related to money. But it could be like you want to spend all this money, but now you got something and you can't spend the money you want to spend. Your entertainment budget got cut a month ago, or something where maybe it's like, because Mars is like our desire. So with Mars in the 2nd, you want to make money, you have to work hard for it, but you're a money person, okay? You're not a minimalist person, and Mars and Sag wants to do all the things. So maybe for the last month you haven't been able to do all the things. Saturn has said no. You can't go on that trip, or you can't eat out all the time right now, or something else like that, where it doesn't have to be the worst thing ever, but usually when Saturn's hitting Mars, we want to go, but we have to stop. And it has that sort of energy. Now, Mars also... let's see, what does Mars rule for you? It's you. Yeah. So then on top of that, this whole Mars retrograde, that now Mars is finally out of shadow since December. Okay, December 5th till now, maybe there has been more frustration, especially in the last month. Let me know if that resonates. Um, Now, Mars also rules your sixth house of day to day time. And so maybe you have had less time. Maybe you've either been busier or been like sluggish when it comes to how you're spending your time. Neptune just went into your sixth house. So now there's this feeling of you want to be more inspired to have your daily schedule have more flow, okay? More ease, more flow, more spiritual things, more things you just can intuitively move one step at a time to. But with Saturn still separating from this square to Mars, maybe you're doing that, but maybe there's still more speed. Maybe you're not at top speed yet. That's kind of what I would think about that. Let me see what else. Yes. Okay. If you want to share more about what that yes is from, I would love to hear, but you don't have to. Okay. So then the good news about Mars being out of shadow is like you are now out of shadow because you're the ruler of the ascendant, is like your body and your life direction. And your time is now out of shadow. So it's like the way you spend your time and just your life in general might start picking up speed. Maybe it has started picking up speed even little by little in the last month. It's not like today we're on full speed, but it's kind of like if you were driving the car and you had the e-brake on. Now the e-brake is no longer on. You can drive unencumbered. You might not be at full speed yet, but now there's nothing really, pulling that energy down or slowing things down. Um, so if you've been feeling like you haven't had your spark, or, you haven't just been able to do the things you normally love doing or anything along those lines, Saturn moving into Aries is going to help you a lot. It's also going to help because it has been in the same sign as your moon. And you have the moon at 4 degrees of Pisces, which is a fixed star called Fomalhaut. We could always do a natal reading on what that means. Okay, because that's a fixed star. You also have the North Node on Vega, so that's one conjunct, like one within 1 degree. So I don't know if it's technically a 1 degree or a little more, but Vega's at 15 something. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of beautiful things here. Here's the thing though. Moon on Fomalhaut equals very creative, very, very creative person, very poetic. And that creativity might be more of an intuitive faculty because it's the moon where you just get things. Saturn can have a blocking effect. Doesn't mean you're like stuck, but Saturn on the moon, I also have a moon in Pisces. This one makes you a Debbie Downer. It brings you down. It makes you sad. It makes you lack support that you would normally have, isolates you a bit. So it doesn't have to be the end of the world. Saturn's already quite a ways past your moon, but you may find that once it moves into Aries, it's going to give you relief from some of that isolation, lack of support, writer's block if you write, or creative block, creative artist block. You have a very creative moon, right? A very, very intuitive and compassionate moon, with Neptune even making contact with it as well. So this Saturn, this hard ass Saturn here is just like, no bueno. It's not fun because that moon really needs to flow and be not judged and not criticized and things like that. So again, I don't think like right now, this very moment, maybe this Saturn moon has been so hard, but sometimes you get, Saturn moon is like whatever you would want things to be comfortable, you don't get that thing. So like if there's a temperature you like it, you don't get that. If you love snacks at work, you don't get the snacks. It's just like if you like joking around with people, nope, everyone's all fucking serious. It just like denies what makes you feel nourished and supported to a certain degree. So that'll be nice to have Saturn get the F out of there. Within the month, you're going to have that. Now he'll come back later this year and then go back again. But the good news is that like it's moving along. Now Saturn is going to give you problems wherever it is. And Saturn in the fifth, I'm going to finish because the timer went off, gives you challenges with expressing your creativity, with fun, and with self expression. So you can think of which one of those areas in the last 2.5 years, maybe 2 years actually, closer to 2 years, have been hit the hardest, and just know that it's going to let up. Okay, and for you, this is a lot of creativity and stuff. Okay, so that is where we're going to stop just because of time. It was lovely doing your transits. Keep in mind, this isn't everything, it's just what I can do in 7 minutes. And you are always allowed, everyone, to book more than one if you want to. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next person. Thank you so much, Julia. And the next person is, let me see. I already said it, but I'm going to check. Is Kiki. So after Kiki, we have Paolo, and then we have Rebecca. And then after that, you could be next. You watching. I shouldn't say that, it's too cheesy. Okay. Kiki, I'm going to grab your chart. And I love doing these readings so much. I have to stop sharing, and then I have to find Kiki. I think I've read for you before. I know I've seen your name in there. Maybe I haven't. Do I not have your chart, Kiki? I mean, I see you chatting all the time, but I'm just going to add it. Unless you added it, maybe you put it in under a different name. Sometimes I don't remember who has chatted to me a bunch versus who has booked with me. Oh, timing of a large inheritance check coming. We can do that, but just you have to like promise me that you won't get mad if I'm wrong. Okay, and if that feels like you don't like that setup, then let me know, we can do something else. But I mean, sometimes I get things right, so I just don't know how it happens. So it has to be kind of in that attitude of like kind of for fun and just to see. You know, like don't take it as fact, take it as maybe until it happens. Does that make sense? Promise. Okay, good. Okay, so I've got you in here. We're putting it on the screen. And okay, transits. Okay, I'll give you a time. I already know what I'm looking for, and I will just go straight to that time. Do you want to talk about anything else? Because this is going to be real fast. The first possible date would be around August 2nd-ish. Let me see here. Okay, Julie, I got you again. 12/9, 12/36, day 12/36. Yeah, I'm going to guess August 5th through the 10th, 11th. Something good is going to happen here, and it can be that. Okay, so my first guess is August 11th. Why? Because the eighth house is what we're looking for this kind of thing, especially like inheritance type of things. You have an exalted Venus. And this is like, yay, when this gets hit in transit, good things are going to probably happen. And then what do we have? We have the sun, which is and it doesn't always help, but she's exalted, so it's fine. Jupiter is even good too. Okay? Jupiter and its rulership. Yeah, all these planets are just chilling together, doing really good things for you. And then we have this. Now, if I didn't know what you were asking, I would wonder, have you done some kind of work that could be published that's like more on the poetic side of things? You also have the Sun conjunct Fomalhaut. This is a very poetic placement, but the Sun is less emotional and more about being seen. So you may find, so it could be something you do that's like, do you have a talent that's like a visual art, or do you just love like being the life of the party? Not just, but you know what I mean? Or acting or something, and like getting into the flow. Because I would wonder if there's something, because this is like a very visible conjunction. It's on your midheaven. So it's like whatever's happening in August, it's going to affect your role in life, or it's going to be like a big deal. Okay, thanks, bag holder. So yeah, Kiki, let me know about that. I'm going to just keep going about just transits. Actually, what I'll do is I'll find the other time there might be something related to this, because Jupiter goes retrograde and it comes back. And then it goes back again. So the time we're looking at for the second possible one, like if for some reason that transit doesn't do it, or I don't know what it would possibly be, I'm going to say by April of 2026. Now, if you know it can't take that long, maybe there's something else that, like, let's say August, you get the initial thing, and then maybe you invest some of it, and then in April 2026, there's a positive thing. I don't want to promise that, because it could be something else, but these are the two really, really good things that are happening for you in the next like year. Okay, so now since we have extra time, I'm just going back to now. Love to sing, but just a hobby right now. Have you made any work that could possibly become seen with it? Is there anything out there? Or do you have a desire to put things out there that's like percolating right now? Because sometimes sixth house transits are like when people who have contributed something to their field, or they've made good work. Sometimes the sixth house planets are like, you create good work, you do good work, but it's in Pisces and there's this creativity behind it. So if you're not singing, you should be. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone has, lots of people want to be creative. Not everyone has the Sun conjunct this fixed star. So if you want to create beautiful things, do it. With these planets, you probably can make a masterpiece. Like, you can make something amazing. Okay, what else do I see? Let me know if you want to look at anything else. I'll just start though with what else. We just got a couple minutes, really. Oh, they're predicting August too? Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking that's gotta be it. Like, it's such a good, I really want to stress that. It's such a good combination of planets and energies that something good is going to happen then. Now, I also think something good is going to happen, maybe something different, around June 9th for you. Everyone, it's your readings aren't going to be this good. I'm sorry. We don't always have this many good planets getting good aspects. Like, sorry everybody. Kiki is getting shined down on by the universe right now. You have Jupiter trine Jupiter June 9th. So you know what we could do that might be fun? Here's what I think we should do that might be fun, is go back and see. And you can reflect on this later and write this down if you're like me and you cannot remember what happens from week to week, let alone year to year. But think about what was happening around June, July of 2013. And think about that, especially in terms of your siblings, your car, your neighborhood, your writing, if you write, or your work, your time, how you spend your time, your health, your maybe even a job. Was there something good happening? And sometimes, okay, sometimes Jupiter in the sixth, you get more work when that planet is aspected. I also have Jupiter in the sixth. Sometimes you get more work. Um, so think about what's happening then. Back in like August of 2013, that was the timer. Um, and then think about how that kind of thing in those areas I just mentioned might be relevant for you this upcoming month, because it's looking like around June, mid-June, we're seeing that trine happen. So you have Jupiter trining Jupiter, Sun, Venus, then Mercury in the next year. This is really, really nice. Jupiter trines are very nice. And I think for today, we'll have to stop there. Although if you want to do a next one, we could go deeper into what Jupiter trine Jupiter might mean if you know what happened back when I said. And we can also look at maybe what will happen when Jupiter hits the sun, etc., etc. But I will say Mars in the third is also a good writer. Usually they're an avid writer. Like you start writing, you're just going to keep being able to write. Mars will motivate you. Sometimes really good writers have Mars in the third because they can do it, right? They can put their energy toward it. Saturn in the third will also make you structure the writing well and have the bullet points and like make a good argument, but also maybe it's composing like the structure of the song and stuff. Yeah, I think you should do music. Anyway, uh, yeah, just to give you a little bit of like, not pressure here, but just this square requires some adjustment. So it's like, writing might also be a way for you to get out some of the tension that squares tend to have. Okay, I'm going to stop. Okay. Yeah, see? Thank you. Thank you. Kiki says, wow, you're good. In summer of 2013, my sibling reconnected after years and it's involved a car. What? Okay. So maybe we won't see, maybe it'll be a different third house thing that we see happening, but this is Jupiter trine Jupiter, man. Third house ruler trine itself, and it's a positive planet. So like something positive with either a sibling or a car or something else in the third house, like writing, communication, your local environment, your neighbors. Um, yeah, that's where we're gonna stop for that. But yeah, cool. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, just thinking about music today, and here we are having a reading about it. How perfect is that? Thank you so much for booking, Kiki. We're gonna go on to the next person. And feel free to come back whenever. Okay, so just to go over who's next, we have Paulo, Rebecca, and Julia. If you're watching and you want to get a reading tonight, now is a good time to book because I go in order of whoever books first gets to beep first, and they're 7 minutes long. You are so welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go to Paulo. Paulo Singh natal chart. Perfect. And I know I'm going to be putting your chart in here, so I'm going to do that now. Just adding that in. I'm just checking it. Yes. Okay, we are good to go. We're going to do natal. Huh, you want what shit's coming for you? Paulo, do you want transits, like what's happening, or do you want natal? Because you picked natal, but we could still change it. So if we do natal, I'll just pull the chart up and explain and let me know, Paulo. Uh, okay, so let me take a look here. If we do natal, I'm going to talk about what your planets mean about you, like what's special about this with your money, what's special about this, what's special about this. And we can do that. But if you want to know what shit's coming or what's coming in general, then we would want to do transits. And that's more like what the energy is doing to you, what Neptune hitting Mars might do to you, what the North Node on your Sun and your Venus might be doing to you. So I would love to hear, I want to know good things to me. It's okay. Sorry, lady. Paulo, you're making me laugh. So you want to know the good things that are coming, like the transits, like what's going to happen. Go ahead and just let me know yes or no on that, and then I'll go forward. And then for who we have next, while Paulo's deciding, we have Rebecca, then we have Julia, and then it could be you. Anyone else watching, you still have the chance to get yours. Transit lady. Okay, transits it is. Now, if you were a native English speaker, we'd have to talk about calling me lady so much because sometimes people say that in a rude way. But I don't think you mean it rude, so I'm gonna take it as not rude. Okay, so I got the transits, and we'll tell you what you want to know, which is what good stuff is coming for you. I'm gonna start the timer here. So we have Jupiter in your fifth house right now for about a month longer. Okay, when Jupiter's in your fifth house, you can flirt, you can have fun. You're going to enjoy life more if you can have fun. You're going to want to do things that give you pleasure, that are just enjoyable to you. And that's kind of what Jupiter in the fifth can also make you want to be more creative, start new creative projects. So you've got another month of this planet being here, so it doesn't mean you can't be creative after this, but during the next month or so, if you do creative things or fun things, it's like the fun things could be more fun. Now, you also have a planet that's making things not as fun right now. Saturn hitting your sun is a tough transit. It makes you feel down. Sometimes you will be very aware during this time of what you feel you haven't accomplished. Regardless of how much you've really done, Saturn puts you in touch with what's wrong with your life, what's wrong with you, actually. This one makes you feel like, oh, these are all the things I haven't done, or the things I was gonna do. I can't do it for some reason. It makes you feel that more. So just know Saturn's going to move. Okay, it's going to move off your sun. Saturn's going to give you a different challenge with Mars. But if you've felt at all like in the past month, maybe even not even month. Let's see. I'm going to give you the date. Maybe the last 2 weeks since about April 23rd. More feeling like you don't measure up, or more feeling like, especially if you took a financial hit. If you took a financial hit a month ago or something, and now you're like regretting it or something like that, this energy is going to pass. Let me know if that is making sense. I'm a gentleman. Yes. Okay. I thought so. Ashley, you can tip when you do the booking. It lets you. Yeah, I knew you were Portuguese, Paulo, and I know you're what now everyone's gonna call me lady. Oh, you guys are awesome. Okay. Okay, go back to the chart. Also, what does the sun represent for you, Paulo? It represents relationships. You felt isolated in the last couple weeks, or you've had one main relationship, whether it's romantic or just other people in your life where things are more difficult. You have to sacrifice for them. Things are just harder. Maybe you're not getting as much of the good things you normally get from people, and it's more just dry and unemotional, then that's going to pass too. Okay, maybe you made a commitment to somebody around the 23rd. Any of those things. Saturn's going to move. So that I'm getting to the good part. There is a good part. Saturn moves. In this case, there's also a downside because Saturn moves right on top of Mars. But the good thing is Mars is in Aries, so it's stronger than the sun in Pisces, meaning you can be more resilient. Okay, so the point is around May 30th, Paulo, you're going to have a shift where if you've had that feeling of like, oh, I'm not measuring up, or I have to sacrifice for others, or aware of how relationships have maybe not aligned with your goals in the past, that's going to pass and be kind of over by the end of this month. Then Saturn's going to hit Mars, and you just might have to like sacrifice or do some work or work hard or something. That's yeah, when Saturn hits Mars, sometimes it's like you want to go fast, but you have to go slow. So slowly doing something you wish you could do quickly, having to redo stuff that you did try to do really fast. You want to, it's like you apply for the CEO and you get mid manager. You know what I mean? It's like you're just not shooting up to the top like you would like to. And that might not be in work, it could be in something else. Okay, I'm going to try to go back to a good thing. Let's go back to now, and I'm going to look for specifically good things. Well, right now, Jupiter is squaring Venus. So I like this because even though it's a square, Jupiter and Venus are a nice thing. So what does Venus represent? That's going to be your ninth house of spirituality and meaning and fulfillment in life. And your, what else does Venus represent? Your fourth house of home. Jupiter might be making your home more, maybe you're focusing on decorating your home or making your home more comfortable, like buying new furniture or like painting something new on the walls, or you got a essential oil diffuser or new perfume or cologne or something to make it smell good or to make it feel good, like a new mattress or something. Let me know if that resonates. Helping old folks home. Helping old folks at home. Family is family. Okay. Let me see what else. Helping old folks at home. Okay. Yeah, Jupiter hitting Venus. You might be making more money as a like a little bonus or something around this upcoming week. Maybe you get a little bonus or somebody gives you some money, or you've saved and you're going to spend the money you've saved, or yeah, just a little, I don't know, a scratch ticket or something. I don't know. You might get a little financial bonus this next week. And what else could this be? Yeah, usually Venus in the second, when it gets activated, it's money. Paulo, are you expecting to get like extra money in the next week or so? Does that line up with things? Now, it could also be like you get, I don't know, someone gives you some clothes or something. Like Venus can be items, like things, right? So maybe you do get a new perfume or cologne or something nice to put on the wall or something. That's what I just keep thinking, is like making it look nice. Okay, what else is good? Okay, the timer went off, but I want to briefly give you a sneak peek to Jupiter entering Cancer in your sixth house. Now, the sixth house is how you spend your time. So I do think that in the next in the next month, once, actually, let's go to the exact date here. June 9th. Okay, so from June 9th to almost next June, so for about a year, Jupiter's going to help you have the way you spend your time be more enjoyable or get more done at work, accomplish more, or just like be. Sometimes Jupiter in the sixth is like you're going to study more, you're going to do more spiritual things, you're going to read more, you're going to listen to spiritual podcasts or meditate more, do like the spiritual things more. But also, this can also be taking the money you've earned and using it to solve your life's problems and just investing in that. It can also be doing something where you're of service and doing like a community activity where you're helping others as well. So we could talk more about that if you want to do a future reading. Um, okay, fine. You don't need perfume. It's just one of the potentials. Okay, Paulo, that is what I have for you. I hope that reading was helpful. And I will remember that in the future that you smell good enough. All right. Going on to our next person. Thanks again, Paulo, which is Rebecca. So we're going to change out the charts here. And the bookings are still open. Thank you, ma'am. Did you change it from lady? Okay, you are very welcome. Okay, Rebecca, I'm going to you now. We're going to pull up your chart. I think we have you. Yep. Worst. Okay, you're going for it. Rebecca's the first one to go for the worst aspect. I can't tell you how much I love doing these readings right now because it's good to like get into the problems and talk about them. I swear. There's just something so amazing about it. Okay. Okay, Ashley, I want to respond because I don't see your booking. Okay, what you did, Ashley, was you signed up for the free career guide for your sun sign. That's a free PDF. That's not a reading. So if you want to do the reading, the link for that one is at the top. So if you're here on the live, just go to the top and you'll see a pinned link, and that pinned link is going to take you to the booking page. And you asked earlier if you can tip. You can tip using that. You do that when you pay. When you book the payment, you actually need to check the tip and see if you want to give that much or if you want to change it. And then Sky, that should answer that question for you as well. All right, on to Rebecca. I am looking at your chart and we're going to do the worst aspect. Yay. Okay, here we go. Did I put it up on the screen? Yeah. Yes, I did. Okay, so let me first just see what I think it is. Keep in mind there might be something worse that I don't want to talk about on camera, or that I'm just picking the one that I think is gonna give you the most insight and be the most helpful. Sometimes people have charts where they have more than one option. So I'm just kind of tuning in here to see which of these is going to be the worst. Let me see. You don't have, I'm going to say, okay, it's a little stretch, but I'm going to say Mars squaring the sun. Let me see though. It might not be. I'm going to reset your timer once I've chosen. So I'm torn, okay? I'm torn between Mars Sun or Saturn Mercury. But because you have a day chart, we're going to go with Mars Sun. That Saturn Mercury is probably working for you. Yeah. That settles it. Okay. Why is Mars Sun a challenging aspect? Well, because it's a square. Okay, Mars and the Sun actually agree, but here's the problem with having a Mars Sun square. Our Sun is part of what we want. Okay, what we can visualize that we want to accomplish. Mars is how we go after what we want and what's worth fighting for. So when these things are square, we're going in different directions. So we have to do some reconciling in order to get ourselves on the same page. So part of you wants to do all the spiritual things and do like travel, study abroad, learn things about far off worlds. Okay. So it's the difference between far off worlds and your inner world. And that sort of like, you can't be in both at the same time. Sure, you can go meditate in another country, okay? But you're still either going to be in the far off world or you're going to be in your own inner world, and those are not the same place, like at all. So that's one challenge here I see with this square. Now, the other challenge that I think you might relate to more is the challenge between Sagittarius and Virgo, okay? Because Sagittarius wants to again, explore the far off things. And Mars in Sagittarius wants to do all the things. It wants to have all the, experiences in life. And just, Sag is kind of messy, you know? It's like we want to just jump into something. There's not a lot of patience for fire signs. And it's like we just want to go after the next thing. And the Sagittarius archer wants to shoot the arrow toward a far off target that is so big you can't define it. Virgo wants to zoom in on all the details, and it doesn't like the risk. So you have this inner fight. Let me know if this is resonating between your desire to experience life, but your desire to avoid risk with Virgo Sun. Now, Virgos get kind of a bad rap for like being perfectionist, but it doesn't always show up as being perfectionist and nitpicky. Sometimes it's like, I want to take this huge next step, but I don't know what to do and I need to figure out all these details, and you don't really need to figure out those details. So sometimes this square you'll stop yourself from doing the thing you want because in 27 steps, you're not sure if you're going to take a left or a right. And so the Virgo Sun needs to get like, you kind of have to give your Virgo Sun a crossword puzzle and then take the freaking risk. Let me see if you're commenting on this. Okay, so let me know if this is resonating. This is a mutable square too, which means that you will find that there's good things this square does. It makes you more ambitious. It speeds up your Mars speeds up your confidence, your desire to accomplish things. And then Pluto's here though. This is the weird thing though. Pluto kind of blocks a little bit. So it's like you may have had to really dig far in life to unbury your confidence and to really feel like this is how I'm proud of myself. Now, some of this can also be like spiritual seeker to the millionth degree, like just insanely, like an insane appetite for spiritual studies or knowledge or learning languages or traveling to other countries or something else that's ninth housey. And let's consider that the sun rules the eighth house. So now, not only do we have the general theme of like, okay, I want to take all the risks, but I want to avoid all the risks. And they can't, you can't make both of those parts of self happy at the same time. So when you're taking a risk, you have to give that Virgo part of you something else to do so it doesn't fret, and worry. I'm laughing because I relate to this one. But then that eighth house sun is going to be about trusting other people. And Mars will actually speed up the area of intimacy and trust in others. You have Jupiter, Venus here. So those are really, really nice for the eighth house. So it kind of makes me feel like you'll get to know people deeply, but then sometimes maybe there's some power struggles once you do. Yes, security versus freedom is hard. And then let's see what else. The eighth house is also like, it's psychic abilities too sometimes. So it can be, again, just more intuition, more ability to kind of read people. And I think there's something else here. Let me think about this. There could also be a strong, like you could have like some strong beliefs and strong convictions. If you've ever traveled abroad, you're going to have stories. I think we should talk. I know I said I would give you an extra minute. So let's talk about Mars being in the 12th house though, because it kind of makes me feel, let me know if you relate to this though. If you've had times in life where it was easy to get to know someone and trust them and develop like rapport with people, maybe it's really easy with Jupiter Venus here to get to know people deeply. But then once you do, it turns out they're a hidden enemy or something like that, because Mars is in the house of hidden enemies. And it's having to do with the planet of intimacy. So, like, have you ever had someone who was like a significant other who just became super abusive and it was like you couldn't even see that about them? Or something else like that where a really close friend turned on you at some point in life? I don't want to like predict that as if that has to happen in the future. But those are the things that I'm wondering. Really want to be traveling to far off lands, but not thinking that's going to happen again. Okay. So it's just the desire and that kind of longing for the ninth house is also like, it's that far off places energy. But then Mars in the 12th is almost like prison. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're going there. I'm just saying it's like the feeling of sort of being stuck where you are and having to deal with the sort of frustration that this ninth house stuff can cause. Now, other it could have been frustrating for you, maybe having mentors or church or spiritual leaders or gurus, more of a sort of, I don't know, like with Pluto, sometimes the word obsession is a keyword. And we all have it somewhere where we're like, oh, I can't get enough of this. But it's like the obsession and the repulsion almost is what I feel. Yeah, hidden enemies. Okay. That kind of makes me feel, Rebecca, like that might be actually the worst part of the chart, because it's like sometimes the ninth house is also like our beliefs, right? And when we find out we can't trust someone, then we believe the world is filled with untrustworthy people. Like it affects our belief because it's our reality. So it's like you don't get intimacy without some of the darkest things in life with it. And I'm not saying you have to be stuck with problems always, but that this would be a big, big, big life theme of kind of, I almost wonder if it's like people not being who you thought they were and the deception. That is what I wonder. And having to kind of reconcile that that's just kind of a part of life, right? Is that sometimes you think someone is someone and they're not. Okay, where I live has been like a prison. Yeah, it kind of does have that feeling, but I don't want to just leave you with that because it feels so like, okay, bye. Because I do see like with the ninth house stuff, it's almost like the powerlessness maybe you felt in situations where people have either deceived you or you've gotten to know people and they turn on you or something, maybe that is something that has led you closer to God, so to speak. And I'm not trying to say that if where you live is a prison, you should be happy about that. But perhaps there is a life theme, irrespective of that, regardless of that, I mean, of sort of having a stuck feeling. Mars in the 12th is like, I want to act, but I can't. Or like, I'm all motivated in this way that is like not, how do I put it? It's like being really busy at a 12-step program, or like being really busy trying to, it really, like, that's the metaphor I'm going to use. Just fill it in with what makes sense for you. Being busy at a 12-step program doing your steps. And it's like that work is so beneficial. It is so beneficial. It's maybe some of the most beneficial things you could do, but no one else sees it. Like it doesn't show. It shows in your life if you were to think about it and compare, okay, here's who I am after doing this psychological work, and here's who I would have become if I didn't. But it kind of suggests you probably had to do some work on yourself at some point, and that you might not realize the benefits of that unless you look for it. So let me know if that makes sense as well. Okay, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. With some of that as well, yes. Okay, so I'll tell you some of the good things about this square and then we'll move on to the next person. Mars Sun does give you more confidence. Now, because it's a Virgo Sun, because of the things we've talked about, it's like it doesn't just give it to you easily, it's Mars. So it gives you confidence through overcoming adversity. And it's almost like maybe you have to overcome certain challenges before you can feel confident. I don't mean this in the future. I just mean like, how does your confidence come when you have a Mars Sun square like this? Might be through overcoming the adversity, might be through having a challenge and then figuring out, okay, I'm going to be stronger because of this, or I'm going to rise above this. You may find that the more spiritual you are, the more connected to a belief you are, that the more your actions, it's almost like, how do I put this? The actions that you take in life will be maybe the ones that are more spiritual and psychological in nature will be more productive. I don't mean you can't do stuff that isn't that way, but like that's where this Mars is going to be doing its thing, is like spiritual practices, meditation, Tai Chi, like spiritual practices that are like meditation that involve movement will be really good here. And that might also help with, I don't think you're like struggling with confidence. I think Mars Sun does give you a certain amount of confidence. But maybe you didn't access that when you were really young until later in life, I think. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I hope that was helpful. I hope we went deep enough into the challenge and there was enough of the positivity around that to kind of understand. And last thing I'll say for advice on this actually is these are mutable squares. So people with mutable squares are good at changing. They're not as good at staying the same. And so what will happen with immutable squares when you hit a rough point in life, your natural way of dealing with it is you want to change something. You want to get a new job. You want to change the position. You want to, if you have a restaurant, you're going to change the menu all the time. Like you don't always need to change the menu. Sometimes the best way for a mutable square person to deal with a rough patch is to figure out, what do I need to just keep how it is? Because your natural reaction is like, oh, something needs to change. When that's more of your own reaction to stress rather than a reaction to what actually is happening in the outer world. So I'm going to leave you with that and we're going to go on to the next person. Thank you so much for booking. Yes. Yes. Yoga has saved you. Perfect. Okay. So who is next? We have Julia. So we have Julia and then we have Ashley. Anyone else who wants to book, the booking's going to be open for like 15 more minutes because I scheduled it to end at 8. So that's in 15 minutes from now. So we have Julia is doing natal chart. Is there something else you wanted to know, Julia? I can just look at your chart and tell you what I see. I can always do that. But I want to check in here. On that. Also, I think I said this earlier, but Ashley, I did get you. And you also did natal, which is wonderful. So I'm going to put Ashley's chart in, and then Julie, if you want to say anything about what you want to know on this next one, I'll check that. And if I don't see anything, I'll just go. Love life. Okay. You want to know about like your patterns in love because that's what your natal chart's going to say. It'll be like your patterns and your needs in love. So I'm going to just do that. I'm going to do your chart for love and that's going to be awesome. I'm pulling it up first. Okay. So here we go. Julia, I'm just going to read it for relationships. Seventh house is Taurus. So oftentimes you're going to want stability, a partner who you can be sensual with, someone you can watch a sunset with or do a massage or whatever. And then we have Venus in Aquarius, which is a little bit more of a love me, leave me alone kind of aspect. Okay. Because Venus Aquarius wants freedom and love. So you need a partner who will give you that, who will let you be yourself, who will let you be uniquely you, who maybe will listen to you talk about your ideas sometimes, and who will make your home a better place. Make your home a better place to be, either because they improve it or because they have these awesome conversations with you at home or because they leave you alone sometimes. That is a very much a Venus and Aquarius thing. Like, and I don't mean that. I'm really not trying to make fun of you. It's just Venus and Aquarius doesn't usually want to be with someone every second of every day, right? They want to do their own thing a little bit and to kind of dress their own way and get to kind of live life their own special way in their own ideas and their own opinions and thoughts about things. Okay, so then again, we have Fomalhaut. You guys all are blessed, spiritually blessed, amazing people. You have the moon in Pisces, conjunct Fomalhaut. Now, the moon in Pisces wants a little more connection, but the thing is, you want to be able to connect to the whole universe, and you're gonna really appreciate partners who are nice. Moon in Pisces doesn't like jerks. Okay, so you're not going to want someone who's a jerk. You're going to want someone who kind of intuitively goes with you through life. It doesn't have to be a big adventure, it could be right here, but someone who kind of moves with the intuition and the moments and the emotions and like will roll the waves of life with you, ride the waves of life with you. That's kind of what Moon in Pisces prefers. Now, Moon conjunct Fomalhaut's its own thing, not really love related as much, other than you're going to be like a more emotional person. So you need freedom sometimes, Sun in Aquarius, but you need connection sometimes. So if you have challenges with this with other people, when it comes to, if you have challenges with this, it would look like, some days you feel like people don't leave you alone enough, and some days you feel like they leave you alone too much. And if you feel like that ever, then this would be something to explore, is to kind of explore, when do you need freedom and when do you need closeness? And is that something that your relationships would benefit from if you could maybe communicate that? Because this is a hard one sometimes for other people to deal with, because they're like, I was just nice to you yesterday and it was fine, and now you want me to leave you alone. What's going on? Now, if you don't relate too much to that, then don't worry about it. I will say that it's easier to get to know you at first than it is to get to know you deeply. You're going to be more like, if you're looking for love or something, you're going to be more open at first and more like getting to know them at first, but then to get to the trust level with you, Saturn is there, so that's a little harder. You don't just go in from dating to a long-term relationship with lots of trust overnight. That's going to take more time. Let's see. Then let's look at Jupiter for more of the enjoyment side of things. So you want a partner who helps you grow in your mindset, or helps you, maybe they have a growth mindset, a practical growth mindset, or someone who lets you expand your mind. Maybe they expand your mind, or it helps you expand your mind, but not in a like by doing ayahuasca kind of a way. More in a, by following these practical steps or reading these practical books or having some information about how the world works and how systems work and things. Yeah, so definitely more of a, when it comes to love, you're going to be more of a free thinker, or a free, like, don't want to be confined or held down or limited by a partner, but maybe would appreciate if they have a certain amount of stability. Even though you do like the connection to universal things, you're not going to date a homeless person, right? You need them to have more, like, something solid they offer you. Okay, and then having the sun in the fourth house, Mercury in the fourth house, Venus in the fourth house, your emotional world is very important to you. How you feel and just your comfort is going to be important to you. Your home is going to be important to you. Having a place where you belong is really important to you as well. And being able to contemplate, right? So I think they need to give you enough freedom to like have time to contemplate. They can't be taken from your meditation time or your reading time or whatever it is you do to like just kind of think about life. Mercury in the fourth likes to think about emotions, usually likes to think about their own feelings, and to ponder over and over what are feelings and why do we have an emotional foundation and psychological things. Okay, and that Uranus stimulates this Mercury. even though Mercury isn't a love planet, it's still your mind, right? So your mind needs to be able to be free. Like you need freedom of thought. So you can't have someone who's telling you don't think like this. You got to have someone who lets you like think your thoughts, even if they're wild and zany and out there. And then like 3 a.m. Um, this one might be really nice for spiritual awakening as well. Maybe you had a sudden spiritual awakening at some point. And let me just see if I see anything else. Yeah, she's saying, wow, right on. Yeah, for love right now. I think, let me see what else with Venus here. Yeah, Venus Pluto also suggests that, people with Pluto in aspect to their relationship stuff are going to be like, you need to go through hell with the person metaphorically. Okay. So that means maybe they've gone through something, you've gone through something. Maybe you meet them in a crisis. Maybe you feel more bonded to a partner if you guys are struggling and like, it's like, you want to ride or die kind of a thing. But the problem with Pluto and your love stuff is not everyone will ride or die back. So you just have this natural staying power in love. For some people, this works to their disadvantage because they don't, it's like you have to learn how to leave. You have to learn how to leave a bad situation. You have to learn how to say, this is toxic. Get me the hell out of here. And so I'm not saying you have been through the worst thing ever, but sometimes Pluto, you'll just naturally be like, oh yeah, we're supposed to suffer together in the underworld, right? Now, sometimes this is going to show up a little bit less obvious. Like maybe you like someone who has tattoos or, something. Pluto with Venus, sometimes this is like a gothic appearance or like, again, tattoos or piercings or something that makes them more, adds a darkness to their appearance. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with that. But that's how it's going to show up in like on a lighter everyday level. Now, you might also just want partners and best friends who have like penetrating minds who will like go to the depths of the psyche with you and, talk psychology and, see the world through the lens of what are people's motives? What is ultimately driving them? Why do people do the way they do things the way they do? That kind of stuff. Okay. We're going to stop there because it's a mini reading and you asked for love. And the timer did go off. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed that. I know you're saying totally resonates. So yeah, that is where we're going to stop for today. Thank you so much for booking twice. And we're going to go on to our next person, which is Ashley. So thanks again, Julia, and everyone else. Now we have 3 minutes. So if you were going to book tonight and you're a last minute kind of person, you can still get in. Click that link at the top of the chat, but I would do that now because it's going to automatically not let you in about 3 minutes here. Okay, so we're going on now to Ashley. I did put your chart in, so let's get that chart up now. One second here. I'm going to check, make sure I got it all right. Oh, I had you in here. Yeah, now I have you twice. No biggie. Right? Have you booked with me before? I'm just going to check the... Yeah. Okay, we're going to do natal. I'm going to do what stands out. Ashley, if you want a topic, you got to tell me like now, because then I won't see it once I start reading the chart. Okay. I'm just going to see. Yes, you're so welcome, Julia. And thank you to everyone else. This has been so fun. I always love it when it's like a full night. I'm just kind of fascinated by your chart right now. How many planets aspect the midheaven? A lot of your planets make aspect to the midheaven, which every planet that aspects the midheaven gives power to the career. Just going to start. So I would think of that as a positive thing. You need one so desperately. Do you want to, is there a topic you want me to talk about? I'm just going to start, and then if I see it, I'll tell you. So Jupiter aspecting the midheaven, Jupiter in the second, Moon in the second, and Leo aspecting the midheaven kind of means there's an ability to look on the bright side of things and a desire to be proud of yourself that's going to support you. It's like you have these aspects of your own self that can help you do what you want to do or do what you do in your career. Career, okay. Career and children. Oh, was it like Chiron or something? Okay, that makes so much sense. Okay, so yes, midheaven. Midheaven in Aries with Mars in the 12th. You might prefer working behind the scenes on something related to communication, like podcasting or like writing or reading or even sales. Now, Mars adds a technical or mechanical component to this. So that could be dealing with computers or software or like IT even. And then you got a bunch of planets that like help. Mercury aspecting totally helps. Mars makes you want to do it more. Mercury makes you want to communicate in a balanced way. You could do something more physical too with this midheaven that brings like, like massage or yoga or something. Venus here. Let me see if there's anything else I'm like. I mean, you have so many things I could tell you about with career. It's amazing. Now Saturn here, an aspect to the career, to the midheaven, will mean that it might go a little bit slower when you're younger and pick up after you get a little bit older. Mars kind of just makes you more ambitious, and Mars ruling the midheaven, aspecting the midheaven, this is considered positive. And then again, like you can have, sometimes your midheaven is like the type of job you do. Like Mars on the midheaven is like being a pioneer of something, initiating something, being the first one to do a thing, creating a software or something. Yeah, but then all these planets in Libra say, but we also are going to want to help people find balance. So it could almost be like you create a software for career counseling, or like these are really random, but it feels like, I do want to say the Jupiter aspect is stronger than the Saturn one. And yeah, so then also Cancer risings tend to work with things that have to do with taking care of others. They tend to be very good at like caretaking. They can be shopkeepers, bartenders, preschool teachers, although I don't see that anywhere else in the chart. But people who are like, give people a sense of comfort and help make people feel okay. Then we have the sun in Libra, which is also, human-centered, a human-centered job, but maybe you're working behind the scenes doing it or creating it or doing the major acting, the major action part of it. Now sometimes I've seen people be a prison guard with this one. Doesn't mean you have to, but if you already have been that, then that would make a lot of sense. I'm going for jobs I may be a tad underqualified for and trying to get back into fitness. Okay, fitness makes a lot of sense with the Aries midheaven because it's like the action of doing the things. And then maybe if it's fitness, it's about like showing people the technical aspect either of the movements or of the nutrition. And then Jupiter might add a teaching element, and then the moon could add a caretaking element, right? And then Mercury in Libra is like, let's help these people balance out their lives through doing this. And maybe even do something that's like customized, right? And more like, I'm with you, I'm your partner in this. As far as the other jobs, is there a question you have? Because it's a lot. It's a lot to read a whole chart for a career. Then yeah, the sun in Libra again is like, it's interesting because it's like you don't really want to be alone. You'd be better doing work where you're with others or in cooperation with others, or like there's other people involved. But at the same time, when it comes to career, it's like you can also be very decisive and do things where you're really busy doing a bunch of different things. You could probably do 2 jobs at once and be happy doing that, because that Mars needs variety as well. And then you're going to be happiest in an environment with Moon and Leo where you can be proud of what you're doing and there's some element of visibility to it, even though this chart is showing that you're really private in a lot of things, but you still might prefer something where you get recognized for the work that you're doing when you do good work. Mars also has a yod here between Neptune and Pluto. It's a wider yod. Technically, if you watch my video, it might say it's not one, but I think this counts for sure. So what does that mean? That means your ability to feel like you're on the right track in career might be something that, one, you might need to actually visualize it to manifest it. 2 is you might have Pluto and Neptune messing it up a little bit. Not messing it up. They create some tension here. So I'm going to finish this thought with this yod. Neptune in the 7th is like idealism about relationships. Pluto in the 5th is like kind of a desire to express yourself. And then Mars in the 12th is like doing something a little bit behind the scenes, but maybe it's like for a spiritual mission. With Neptune, it might need a spiritual mission. And also Pluto in the 5th, you might struggle with just deciding what you want. And it almost feels like that. Let me know if this relates. Do you feel like, Ashley, that's not what you asked for. You asked for a natal reading. So we can't switch it at the end after the timer's gone off. Prison guard to my husband. You're hilarious. You're hilarious. I've thought of catering to elderly with fitness, classic rock vibes. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But overall, okay, I want to finish this thought about this yod. Saturn in aspect to Mars here will probably, I'm sorry, wanted to go with Neptune. Neptune in aspect to Mars here will probably make you a little bit more dreamy when it comes to what you want to do for work. And maybe sometimes it might be harder to, like, you'll dream about it, but the dream might not be just like easy to think of the possibilities, right? Neptune makes it easy to think of the possibilities, but hard to pin down one of them. And then what does Pluto do? Pluto in the fifth might make it so that it's, again, same sort of idea, but like the fifth house stuff can be, you want someone to give you permission to do what you want to do. There's this thing you want to do, and you feel like you're waiting for a sign. You're waiting for the universe. You're waiting for. Now, if this doesn't relate, that's fine. But if it relates, what you need to do is just, you have to pick something. Because you will sometimes have to like stake your claim, right? The fifth house is like our own self-expression. It's our own creation. And I'm trying to get to the point here. There's a point. I don't know what it is though. For you, jobs where you get to do things that are where you have courage and curiosity. Now, I know those aren't like actual jobs. Things where you can defend people and or like defend them and give them options. Defend them and give them information. Defend them and ask them questions. Maybe, you know, if you're doing fitness, it can be like giving them a guide with a bunch of different movements for the whole body. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this Mars is going to like go in circles and keep going in circles and keep going in circles. So it's like of information, of telling people stuff. And the moon is nourishing, and it's like making that aspect up to the midheaven. So maybe even getting into like supplements or something might be part of it as well. Okay, we're going to stop there. I know I covered a lot in this because to me, your career has so many, like there's so many options that maybe it's hard to choose which one. And maybe throughout life, you'll have a bunch of different ones, and that's okay. You also have Venus trining Mars and aspecting the midheaven. So you might use charisma. You might like get into sales or get into fitness and then like use that Venus Mars trine to be able to like market and get clients. You might be a really good marketer as well, good at selling. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, yeah. Too many avenues, can never stay. Yep, that's a definite like sometimes when, okay, for Gemini midheavens or having your midheaven ruler in Gemini, it can be like you just are so curious about all the different things. You need to try all the different jobs. This doesn't mean you're stuck like that forever, but you just might be happier if there's a temporary, you might like temping, you know, you might like trying different things and learning different things and being new, but you might not like, I don't want to say it when it gets old, but maybe you prefer a job where you get to keep launching, like where you have a business and you get to launch new products all the time, or even if you're doing fitness where you have like something new about the next level, you know, that keeps it interesting for you. Because yeah, curiosity is a part of that too. Okay, we're going to stop there. Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you so much to everybody who booked tonight. I think we'll do another one of these. Maybe tomorrow, maybe even tomorrow morning. But this weekend there will be another one, so watch the channel. Make sure you hit subscribe if you want to be notified. And the best way to get notified really with my stuff is to join my email list. So there is a link in the description where you can sign up for my email list. You'll get one of my free guides. And then I'll sell you a bunch of shit, including these readings. So I'll tell you, I don't always announce them, but I will tell you when they're going to happen sometimes. And yeah, also being subscribed to the channel and hitting the bell, getting the notifications. That way, when I do jump on, maybe I'll do a spontaneous live here and there, you're going to be notified too. Thank you so much to everyone who booked and everyone who supports my work in all the different ways that you guys do. I will see you beautiful souls in the next video. Bye.